right, so I did all of these before, but this was like when the character first came out, so I totally don't remember any of this. I should start off by saying that when you play mission mode, a lot of the times I see a lot of people complain about how mission mode isn't exactly like, oh, these combos aren't optimal, these combos are useless in one way, shape, or form. For a developer, it's almost impossible for you to comprehend the full extent of a character's abilities. They obviously have an idea, that's how they can like sort of cohesively put a character together, right? But they cannot really account for the ingenuity of thousands of people, right? That just makes sense. What we think with that is that they sort of put an idea for the character together and then they give you trials for the combos. Well, that means that the mission mode or the trials are designed to teach you something about the character, right? So like every one of these, even if it's a small thing, have something to teach you, right? So what this teaches me is that on a normal launch, I want to go into down forward C or 3C because it launches them. And then afterwards, I want to do BC 3, jump 3B, which is a good way to avoid using this button in the combo because it's an A, so it's a lighter move. And that way I can get slightly more damage. What are we learning from this move, right? We're learning that how to confirm from like max range on this, from this one. So you do B, C, down C, maybe not that close or not that far. But what it does teach me is that when you do things like this far, right? You're trying to look to confirm into down C because it's one of his farthest reaching moves. Because every move pushes back, right? So you start here. When you go into something like that. Oh no, we're starting with down C. My bad. Down C, 4CC, or 2C, 4CC into quarterback A. So it's like a sort of a max 2C confirm. It feels like it, right? So this is about outside of its effective range. Very cool. This is super useful. And then what's... Okay, this feels more like a poke. I think that makes sense with what they're trying to confirm it with right here, like a fireball. So this feels like more of a pressure tool. That you have something that can go this far, it moves forward, and it's really easy to cancel into something safe. All right, so what are we looking at here? We are looking at the first semi-difficult combo. That's why it's turned into like a 3-1. What is this? This is getting a little bit more complicated in our normal use before we start putting specials into the combo, right? So what are we looking at? We're looking at doing 2A, 2B, and then stand C. This is good. So this is how we're putting extra normals in before we go into 2C. So yeah, what I was saying before is that basically what this is trying to teach you is that not to go into ABC or 2ABC, but try to go to 2AB into 5C. So you can get an extra normal in before you go into the launch. Because you're going to go into 2B, you're going to go into 2C, 5B, like that. Down C, into neutral B, and then you're going to go into 4CC. Which we learned before is a good way to cancel into A Rekka. There you go, like that. All right, BC 2C into single A Rekka into C, and then you get to combo off it by doing down B4CC into the same Rekka sequence that we did before. So that's what it taught us last time, is that when you do 4CC, A Rekka, C Rekka. That's how you end your combos. And this is getting a little bit more complicated. Very nice. Okay, so that pickup's kind of tight, actually. Something you're going to have to get used to if you want to learn how to pick up this character long term. Because you have to wait for the Rekka not to input, and then... So you basically have to fall out of the Rekka recovery time entirely and then press the input, but before they recover. Okay, so we're messing up something here on the timing. One of the cool things about Under Night that I think people maybe don't pay attention to if they're good and they have natural inputs or natural feeling for these sorts of inputs is that there is a timing mechanic in Under Night almost everywhere in the combos where you think it might be slightly more difficult. Because generally speaking, a lot of the inputs, generally speaking in Under Night, the timing for it is unlike any other fighting game. In this, it's like, it's sort of a little bit different. So, but then that means that there's usually like some sort of timing mechanic that, not mechanic, timing cue that helps you learn. So what I learned right now is that it's about the time when you do Rekka AC, when he hits the floor, it's sort of like when you hear it hitting the ground. There you go. See? I'm getting a little bit more now. Very cool. Okay, so the only thing I have to do is remember to do 4C after the 2B. Okay, there you go. So there's a lot of stuff like that. There's a lot of stuff like that in Under Night that you might not be aware of. A lot of, like, I learned some of Akatsuki's hardest combos that way. There's like little timings and ticks in this game that I know they put in on purpose because almost every single character has something like it. Okay, what are we looking at here? 4cc, where they block the first hit and then you combo off the overhead. So if they're blocking low a lot, the game is telling you this is how you can open people up. This is one of your options, right? This second hit's an overhead. And it's also special cancelable. It's also telling you that you can go straight into 2C. You don't have to do... What did we do last time? We did 2B, which is a faster move. So what are we doing here? This is starting from a low poke at max range. A lot of the times when you do these combos, Under Night is nice enough that it'll set you in the exact distance and space that you need to start it. So this is starting you out at almost max 2C range, which is really nice. So, like, what can you do with this too, right? Look at the characters on the ground. I wish I could remove the... You can see, like, look at, like, the screen on the bottom of the screen where, like, Hyde has his back foot. It's, like, exactly where that line is going towards the wall. And then Londrekia's is, like, a little bit forward, right? So you can see, like, that's about the range that you want to do it at. That's what the game is telling you. 2C, 4C, without the second hit of the 4C, into quarterback C. Into full charge A. Oh, you can charge these. That's right. I remember that. And it's telling you that if you're going into a launched character, so if you do 4cc, you go into A Rekka. But if you do only 4C, you want to go into C Rekka. Good to know. So when you really look at these, it really teaches you a lot about how to play the character and how to even invent combos of your own later on. All right, get into the hard stuff. This is where once you get to the 4 dash and the 5 dash or a 6 dash, that's when you started getting into the stuff that is like super duper useful, right? This is the stuff that you're really, really learning. Okay, we're putting dash B in the combo now. Very cool. So this is picking up off of ICJC into dash B. All right, we're getting in a little bit of harder territory where I have to actually look at the character the entire time while I'm doing the combos. This is doing the same combo from Antire? Easy enough. I mean, I'm gonna mess it up 1,000 times, but I mean, easy enough in concept. That's right. They teach you veil-off setups now. That is crazy. This is... You know how, like, impressive it is that they teach you stuff like this? This is crazy. Because, like, veil-off as, like, an attempt to strip Vorp Roll from the opponent is a high-level strategy. This is a high-level concept to understand. And the fact that they teach you it in the mission mode of the game is so cool. It's like, this is what I'm saying before. This game, what the mission mode's doing is it's giving you tools, right? It's giving you all these little things to hold on to, and so that you can do at least one version of it. So it's like, you might not know how to do a veil off combo, or a combo that ends in veil off to strip Vorp Roll. That's like maybe fully optimal. You might not know how to do it in every position, right? But you do know that, like, if I could get this one setup, right? If I can do stuff like do this combo or set it up in this sort of way, that I will be able to do this veil off thing in the corner. I think that's super neat. Okay, I'm not supposed to freeze them. You just have to do it like right afterwards. Oops. Oops. That's a super. Close. Got it. So this is a stripping Vorpal combo. So cool. My brain doesn't think I should go back up. I never thought of that, but then again, I'm mad. Oh, you're talking about like mission mode in general? Yeah, the mission modes are supposed to teach you things. They're supposed to teach you different concepts for you to understand. They're not just like bad combos. They're tools. Think of them as tools, right? You want to like get a bunch of tools and put them together. If I learn like a better combo, I can maybe potentially use this tool that I've learned, right? There you go. Like, if I learn more about this game, even if I just learned how to do something like this, right? Oops. Then it would be good enough for me to learn how to do different combos. And that's how you're, like, learning how to, like, put the character together in your own way. And, Dogno, you're not the only one. I feel like most people don't think about mission mode like this. But when you're like dumb like me, you sort of have to like use every tool that you possibly can to learn.